everybody, Captain Silvertooth here from Infographic News for Kids. Today is Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019. Happy New Year, if you haven't heard me say that yet. Our mission is to inform the youth of all nations of the world being created for them to inherit. Our constitutional quote for today is the 9th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which reads, "The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people." That basically means that just because there are other rights in the Constitution that may not be listed, it doesn't mean they can be violated or that they are not constitutionally protected. Yesterday's constitutional question was, why are police allowed to lawfully lie to us? Even if it violates our rights. And I came up with the police are allowed to lie because they are either trying to get a confession or at least a little amount of evidence from you, then they use it against you later on, even if it violates your rights. So they trip you up into saying something that incriminates you, makes you say something to be used against you. Or they tell you you have to do something like step out of the car or allow them to search your dog or to search your car even though you don't have to. They try to say that you have to when you don't have to. So still they are trying to get evidence or a confession to make an arrest because arrests give them money. So in an earlier video, I told you guys about the 5th Amendment and how it guarantees the right to remain silent. And you do have the right to remain silent always. So that's what you need to remember when you are dealing with the police. Just shh, 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 shh. That's what you have to do, okay? I have to show you guys something. So do you remember in yesterday's video, I told you guys about New York and the toy guns? Well, I've got one. Somebody better call the New York police on me or something. Somebody come give me a magnifying glass. Ah! But I threw that one away, but I've got another. So, whoops. Our first article I found on Infowars, and it's Twitter censors conservatives but won't ban pedophiles. And a pedophile is basically a person who is attracted to children, which is creepy. Rage Against the Machines, but anyway. They allow hebephiles, which is a pedophile who is who prefers pubescent children, ages 10 and 11 to 14 and 15, around those ages. So basically before kids hit puberty. That's what they are attracted to, which is also sick. A zoophile, someone who is attracted to animals sexually. A nepophile, someone who is attracted to toddlers and babies sexually. That is sick. But they allow all this, Twitter does, but they ban conservative people who think conservatively. So it's nice to know that Twitter would rather have people stalking children and animals and babies and all that over conservative thinkers. So that's real nice to know. This next article was also found on Infowars, and it's headlined, "New medical treatment imbuses adults with teen blood harvested from youth." Well, that sounds a little creepy. Reports indicate that a new clinical trial known as ambrosia. Wait, isn't that the delicious dessert that is like served at big events like family reunions and weddings? That's what I thought ambrosia was, but they are testing the effects of young blood, which contains special growth factors that are not found in older blood that some people believe can reverse the aging process. Well, that's not natural. That's not natural at all. Quote, their brains are younger, their hearts, their hair, if it was gray, it would turn back to dark again, said Dr. Karmazin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's spelled Karmazin. These people who are obtaining the blood from young people are being paid $8,000 to see how it affects them. So that's nice to know as well, that it's not something people are just doing, it's government as well. Dr. Khorasani says, quote, there are still a lot of unknowns and factors we don't know when we're actually getting another person's growth factors and nutrients injected in us. According to Dr. Sharon Shaw, an Alzheimer's researcher at Stanford, says young blood is already showing evidence of helping to improve the functional abilities of dementia patients. This is creepy. Like, it really is, because that could be my blood, it could be your blood, it could be anybody's blood, and they're just injecting it into complete strangers. So it's kind of scary. I think it's scary. You guys might not. Let me know. If you want me to be honest with you, it seems like some things that would go on in a vampire movie, don't you think? Like, that's what it seems like to me. Am I the only one? This article was also found on Drudge Report, and it's Infowars, and it is headlined, Facebook backs down after censoring Franklin Graham. Reverend Franklin Graham, the chief of the Samaritan's Purse Christian Ministry, as well as the Billy Graham Evangelical Association, is accepting a formal apology from Facebook after the social media company blocked the noted Christian leader, who has millions of people who watch his page for 24 hours. The leftist social media company had someone on its staff impose the punishment for a post that was made 2 years ago, in which Graham supported a state law in North Carolina, his organization's home, that simply mandated that men use men's restrooms and men's locker rooms, while women use women's facilities. Am I missing the big deal here? Like, what's the big deal? On an interview, he explained the penalty just came out of nowhere, which it often does. It just comes out of nowhere, especially for something that was posted 2 years ago. Quote, it was a personal attack for me. I was defending the governor and the legislator on a very controversial bill. It was a good law. However, in Facebook's world, for that, you can be classified as racist and a hate speech. Quote, I would hope they would look to the Bible and get some instruction from God's word, he said. Seriously, am I missing the big deal? Like, just because he said men use this and women use this, he gets banned from Facebook? More censorship. Great. It's just great. When is social media gonna get over itself? Like, seriously, we're banning people Well, they call it banning, I call it censoring. It's not banning, it's censoring, because you're telling people that they can't say how they feel, which is protected by our First Amendment right of the freedom of speech. So technically he had every right to say what he said. But no, Facebook's gonna be mean and they're gonna be like, no more Facebook for you. I honestly don't see the big problem with what he said. Like, I don't. The song is Disturbed, and the song is stricken by Disturbed. It's a really good song. It's a lot different from the Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, but they're the same people. The Hello Darkness, My Old Friend song was originally made by Simon and Garfunkel, but was covered by Disturbed. And it's called The Sound of Silence, not the Hello Darkness, My Old Friend song. Anyway, back to what we are supposed to be talking about. Do you guys see the big deal in why he was banned just for saying that men use men's restrooms and men's? But it also raises the question, why would men want to use anything that the women use? And why would the women want to use anything that the men use? Why? Like, I wouldn't go in the men's restroom. It stinks. It's like, that's what it is, honestly. Like, I have brothers, so, and you know, sometimes it's my day to clean the bathroom right after they get done using it. Yeah, no thank you, no thank you. Anyway, we are going to move on. This is Lenny Kravitz, and it's the Fly Away song, and I really like this song. I really like this song. It's a really good song. You should listen to it, really, because you might like it. This next article I found on Drudge Report, and it was Florida's shooting voted top story of the year. So let's go back to Valentine's Day of 2018. Let's remember that there was a school shooting in Florida. The Parkland school shooting, an act of senseless hate by a gunman with a semi-automatic rifle who killed 15 students and 2 staff members. He was allowed to do it because there was an officer near the site and he just stayed in the car the entire time. Instead of trying to help, he just stayed in this car. So this man was allowed to kill these people. A group of survivors at the school, joined by allies nationwide, launched the March of Our Lives movement that organized massive walkouts and peaceful protests at school across the country. Okay, it is very sad that things like this happen. And it shouldn't happen. But then again, neither should gun control, because that's what they're trying to do. Because of these mass shootings that happen all the time, they're trying to take away our Second Amendment right, which guarantees the right to bear arms. So I feel like it would be better if the teachers in the schools had some type of deadly force that was equal to the other person's deadly force, like even if it's a gun or anything else. Like, we're taught at my school to just throw things, but that's not always going to work, especially when we're panicking. You know, we might talk all this game, and then when it comes down to it, it's not going to work because we're panicking. So maybe, just maybe, if the teachers and staff members had something that they could have in their desk as safekeeping until something serious happens, then maybe it wouldn't be nearly as bad. But all these shootings that happen always happen in no-gun zones. And it is sad that things like this happen. It really is. I don't like that stuff like this happens, because it could happen anywhere to anybody, and I get scared just thinking about how it could happen to me or my little brothers or my other siblings. Like, it just scares me. Like, it really does. And it scares me to think about all these parents and friends who lost family members and friends to school shootings. It is a really sad thing, and I'm sorry, but it wouldn't be happening if teachers and staff members had something that could help defend us, and if just something like that, really. Okay, so basically meeting a deadly force with an equal deadly force and eliminating all no gun zones or soft targets completely is how we stop this. It's how we stop it. Because no gun zones shouldn't exist anyway, because it violates our Second Amendment right. So the last thing I'm going to say about this is the no gun zone areas aren't ever keeping anybody safe, and the school officers that we have aren't doing anything to keep us safe at that specific school. So, for sure, I'm not sure about any other schools, but I know for a fact that that school had an officer, and he decided to sit in his car the entire time this was going on. That's all I'm going to say. Our Bible verse for today is from the book of Proverbs. It is chapter 22, verse 6, and it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." I'm going to say that again. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Our constitutional question is a very broad-thinking constitutional question. Why does the Second Amendment exist? What does the Second Amendment protect us from? Why did our forefathers make sure to put it in the Constitution? Why is it worded the exact way it is, or it was? Those are the questions I would like you guys and myself to come up with answers for. Do a little bit of research on it. Hambone the Hilarious has a joke for us.
Why didn't the wave back?
Why didn't the ocean wave back?
Why didn't the ocean wave back?
Why?
Because he was salty.
Say it again though, so everybody can hear you.
Why didn't the ocean wave back?
Why?
Because he was salty.
Okay. He's funny. He's cute. His jokes are adorable. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. My resolution was to make better videos, and we're doing our best. So, please just bear with us. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I love you guys. Captain Silvertooth signing out. Bye.